buttermilk ranch dressing today, which is my favorite dressing ever. And it pairs perfectly with all of our savory pies, but especially our chicken pot pie. So let's make it together. Oops, I'm already throwing my chives everywhere. But the first thing we start with is a really good base of buttermilk, sour cream, and mayonnaise, if you can believe it. So let's get started. Now, I like to start with full fat buttermilk, which can sometimes be a little bit hard to find in the grocery store, but make sure you look for that. So whole buttermilk is key. It gives you a little bit of a thicker, richer dressing. And I also have to do a little shameless plug for Duke's mayonnaise here, because I think you can't have a really good ranch dressing without the tangy vinegarness of Duke's mayonnaise. So you gotta start with your base here, and then I'm gonna get a little bit of salt and pepper. So a little bit of kosher salt and some pepper that we're gonna add. And a trick that I like to do is I like to make all of this in one measuring cup. So when I was a little girl, I loved to cook, but I also loved to make a mess. And I would have dishes all in the kitchen, and my mom would always say, Amanda, let me show you a trick and let me help simplify cooking so that we don't have to wash all these dishes afterwards. So she showed me that you can make your dressing all in one container, which is so handy. So what I'm gonna do is pour about a cup of buttermilk right in here, and then I'm gonna measure my other ingredients in here with this. Now I'm gonna add about a cup of mayonnaise, and it'll just increase as you go. You'll see your liquid increases since you've got a liquid measuring cup here. And then I'm gonna do 1/4 cup of sour cream. Now y'all, don't skimp on your full fat ingredients and try and make this low fat. I always tell people you're better off to get a full fat ingredient, because it's gonna have a better taste and better flavor and make it delicious, because you're gonna want less of it if you do, rather than trying to buy the low fat version and then you're gonna crave more and more of it and it's not gonna taste as good. You don't wanna get any lumps in this, and it does tend to clump a little bit, so you wanna be able to mix it well. So we've got our whisk ready to go. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add just a tad bit of soy sauce to this. So the soy sauce is just gonna give it just a little bit of a salty flavor, and just kind of add a little bit of a richness to it. So you can add some soy. And then I like to add some dried onion if you have any. If you don't, you can add a little bit of onion powder, which I like to do here. And then I'm gonna add my fresh herbs. So I like to do parsley and chives. Really, any type of fresh herb will do. You're just looking for that brightness of flavor. And I like to take my chives and my parsley. I'm just gonna kind of cut these together right here. At my house, we always have this ranch dressing on hand in the fridge. It'll last for about 2 or 3 weeks in the fridge, as long as your buttermilk has a good long expiration date on it when you make this. We keep this on hand. My kids eat this on pizza. I am a little bit ashamed to admit this, but I will dip my French fries in this. That is one of my guilty pleasures, is being able to go and get an order of French fries and come home and dip them in this. Shh, don't tell anybody that. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I do that all the time. And I just love to be able to have it on hand so that anytime we want to pop a chicken pot pie in the oven or a pot roast in the oven on a weeknight, I can actually just pull this out of the fridge. I can pick up a head of iceberg lettuce on the way home. I can do a nice wedge salad with this, or I can do just kind of a chopped salad and add some bacon and tomatoes and maybe some boiled egg to it, and it's just a nice complement to a savory pie or a chicken or a steak dinner. So it's great. So what I've done here is I've just chopped my herbs. I'm gonna add my herbs to the dressing. You're gonna need these herbs for their bright flavor and their earthy flavor in the dressing. And then what we're gonna add is some garlic. So I've already chopped my garlic here. Fresh garlic is best. The garlic out of the can or the jar is just not gonna give you the same flavor. Sometimes that can be really bitter, so you definitely wanna go with the freshness. And then you're just gonna wanna give this a nice, good whisk right here. So come on in here, I want you to see this. See how it can be a little bit clumpy in the beginning? You wanna work really hard to give this a good whisk right here for a little bit to make sure that you get all those clumps out. It won't take too long, but spend a little bit of time with it. Don't rush it. And that way you get a nice, smooth, textured dressing. If you get to this point, I would recommend tasting it right here to see what else you feel like you need for flavor. Let's see what we think we need. I feel like it could probably use some more onion, a little bit more herb, a little bit more of the chives. So I've chopped up some extra right here. I'm probably gonna add these in. So you kind of just want to taste and add as you go. I think the chives and that onion flavor just really just take it up a notch. And then what I believe it needs is just a little bit more soy. We'll add a little bit more of that. And then for sure, some salt and pepper. So we haven't added that yet, and that is a key ingredient, is getting a good amount of kosher salt in there. The kosher salt just helps bring out all the flavors of the buttermilk and the mayonnaise and the soy, and everything just starts blending together once you get that salt in there. Give it a good stir, and then let's add some fresh cracked pepper. You all know how much I love fresh cracked pepper. I'm never shy with it. I'm always quite possibly overdo it a little bit, and I think that's okay, unless you ask my kids, who say I way overdo it. So I think if you want to get in there close, I think you can see it's just coming together so well. I'm going to grab a spoon here and now get a really good taste of it. Let's see here how it's turning out. Oh my gosh, y'all. That is superb. I love it. It's very fresh. It's not too heavy. It's light. It's not gonna overwhelm your greens when you pour it over it. It truly is just absolutely delicious. You're gonna be a big fan of this one. I could just eat it by the spoonful. It's truly that good. All right, so now we just need to get our greens. We're gonna top our greens with this. I'm gonna do this on a bed, like a big platter. I think that's fun for a family salad. So I'm gonna spread it out on a platter, and I actually have, I had some leftover bacon this morning from when I made bacon for breakfast. And what I'm gonna do is I'll put it on the platter. I'm gonna top the salad with some bacon and some beautiful new cherry tomatoes that I just picked up at the farmer's market this morning, and it's gonna be divine. All right, so I've got my salad here. And you know, the thing is, I did actually make it to the farmer's market this morning and pick up some beautiful cherry tomatoes that I think you would absolutely love. But at the end of the day, I was not able to pick up a beautiful head of iceberg. I was in a hurry. I don't have time to chop it before we have dinner tonight. So let's be real, sometimes you just need a bag of salad. So I just snagged a quick bag of iceberg. Actually, I asked Alex too when he was at the store. I said, will you please pick this up because I forgot it. So when you're on the go, that's okay. I'm gonna take this and we're gonna chop a couple of our tomatoes actually real quick. The good tomatoes are not gonna come in until mid-July here in Georgia at least, or like early August. And by, you know, the end of August, they're pretty much gone, but you just have that, I feel like, short window when they're absolutely juicy and sweet and just superb. So I was just lucky to find these this morning. I was so excited. So what I'm gonna do is take and just drizzle my dressing over this iceberg lettuce. Another thing I love about making it all in one dish like this, a glass measuring cup, is you can just perfectly drizzle it over your salad. And look at how yummy that looks. All right, so we've got our dressing. You can pour this in a dish and save the extra in case anybody wants it. I can almost promise you they're going to. Let's top it with these beautiful tomatoes, all the bright colors. I always try and make our food look pretty if I can, because I feel like my boys are more likely to eat it if it looks a little prettier. Now maybe that's just like a subconscious thing that I think, but I feel like that's the case. So I've got my tomatoes on top, and then I'm just gonna add this yummy, salty, fatty, delicious bacon to the top right here, because you need a little bit of a crunch with this salad. So we've got our bacon on top. You can add a little bit more, just crunch it up. I love being able to utilize leftovers from breakfast. So typically I'll just fry up a big pan of bacon, and actually I've gotten to where I love to roast it in the oven. It's less mess, and it actually to me seems to come out a little bit chewier. I like mine a little chewier rather than crunchy. So I love doing it that way. And then I'll take some of the leftover chives that I had and just sprinkle the chives across the top so that I'm layering my colors. Now y'all, this looks divine. Now can you imagine serving this alongside the chicken pot pie, the pot roast pie? This would be a wonderful late summer meal, or this would be a great thing to serve just throughout the weeknight. This truly was simple. You've got a bag of iceberg lettuce, a delicious homemade dressing, easy tomatoes cut up, thrown over the top. You can find your tomatoes at the grocery store, and then you've got some bacon that you put on top. It's simple, quick, and it's full of flavor, and it's a perfect side dish for one of our savory pies. You're gonna love it. I caught somebody eating this salad. You are guilty.